G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Friday night tonight, and we are going to drift practice at Queensland Raceway. Unbelievable. A little sprinter from track spec to drift spec. Let's see how she goes tonight, eh? Rightio, so we just got in the gate. We're gonna go sign on, get the car scrutineered, and park our back up out there where the DTC track, they call it, is. Rightio, sign on's done. I'm gonna talk loud because this car's a little loud. Sign on's done, all set to go. Just waiting for a driver's briefing before they let us out on track. So that little area is called the playground, which is not a bad name for it because we're all big kids at heart. So at the moment I'm just driving around the car park like a teenager at a Macca's car park, getting a bit of warmth into the gearbox and the diff. While other people think I'm just showing the car off. Which I might be doing as well. So, just had 2 drifts. Sweet. What a little beast. Going out again, just had to top the fuel tank up, got a bit of fuel surge, but go ahead, do a couple more, see how we go. Righto, she's back to sinister looking spec. Just let it cool down a bit and I'll take it out. So I've put harder tyres on the front just to try and be able to get it back. It's just a bit hard. Just locks up on me. This car is breaking my wrist trying to hang on to it. Power steering, this thing is just impossible to handle. Go. I am just looking like the novice of rookies at the moment. When it gets to full lock, the steering is that heavy, not having any power steering at all. I cannot pull it back, and it is just seriously hurting my wrist. And mind you, I still have a plate in this wrist from racing bikes, and it's starting to really ache my wrist because I just cannot manhandle this thing to pull the steering wheel back to do what I need to do to correct the car, and then pull the steering wheel back to keep it on trajectory. It's ridiculous. It's a bit of fun, but I'm going to put the other set of wheels that I've got on the front that are a lot less grippy, So it might make it a bit easier to pull the wheel back, having a tyre that's got less grip, a bit harder compound. So we'll give that a go and see how we go.
It's slippery now. Wow, that is slippery now. That is ridiculously slippery. A little bit of rain has just fucking wet it off a bit. Oh, it had 400 horsepower, that's all. Yeah. You gotta go.
Well, this thing's got power in it for beans.
Makes around 210.
Yeah, same as mine. Mine's 210.
Yeah?
Yeah, but this thing feels fucking more punchy or something. Big going in it.
Probably a short gear ratio.
Must be, like, yeah.
I can't remember what the diff is. I think it might be a 4.3.
I have 4.8s. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's mad. But
Still slippery there. Something happened to my handbrake, I'm not sure what. It feels like it might have broken out.
Rightio, so day after Friday night drifts, and it was a little bit of a disaster, but I had fun and I learned a couple of things. So two things in my defense. So on the front I had one of my sets of wheels, which is 16 inch by 8 inch wide, with 225 wide tyres on it, which are a square shaped tyre, and the other wheels I had for the front were on the mesh wheels, which are kind of like an intermediate kind of race tyre, semi-slick, and bit of a grippy tyre. One thing I learnt is the reason why a lot of guys have stretch fit tyres on wider rims, so skinnier tyres that are just ballooned out to fit on wider rims, and it's to get a bit of a radius on the tyre to make it easier to correct the car in the drift. Now when you got a square tyre set up like I had on mine, it makes it harder to correct, because one thing with correcting a car in a drift is you got to be quick to steer into it, but if it goes to straighten up a bit, you've got to be just as quick to pull that steering wheel back straight, otherwise you spin out, or worse, you could end up hitting the barriers. You would have seen in that footage that I was struggling to try and pull that wheel back, so it really did look like I had no idea what I was doing. But in my defense, the car doesn't have power steering, and if you've seen my car in real life or felt the steering, then you know how heavy the steering actually is. It's just got a manual rack in it, and it's got sticky tires on the front, and I just had all that working against me to correct the car properly in a drift. But like I said, I learned a few things. I always wondered why these guys stretch tires, skinnier tires over wider wheels. I thought it might have just been a look thing, like a bit of a drift phase kind of thing, because certain motorsports have their own kind of little sort of niche or sort of things that they do. But after talking to a couple of guys last night, the main reason why I guess they do it is to make the steering easier, and they have a bit more camber on their cars as well to sort of offset a few things that the car tries to fight you with, which is what I was dealing with. So another thing is that playground, they call it, the area where they have the drifts, that's also where you got to qualify to get onto the big track. And I reckon I might throw skinnier tyres on the front and go out to one of the qualifying events to get onto the big track, because drifting is one of those things, like I've heard a lot of people in the racing scene knock it and just say they're just noisy, annoying and all this stuff, and it's kind of thing, each to their own, but it's also the old saying, don't knock it until you try it. Now I've been to power cruise events and other kind of events out at racetracks in some tough cars I've had back in the day that have had a hell of a lot more power than what the Sprinter's got, and a lot heavier, and I've drifted them no worries, because power makes things easier. The trouble is with the Sprinter, it does only have about 200 horsepower, but on that track it's surprisingly slippery, so there's really not a whole lot of grip. Now one of the wheels that I had on the back, those Pursuit rims, they actually widen the track of the car in the rear. So if you picture it like a go-kart, where the front track is a bit narrower and the rear track is a bit wider, well, that makes it easy for the car to get out into a drift and get away from you a lot easier. So that is what I was battling, and then it took me a couple of goes to sort of learn that and how it was doing, because like I said, I've never drifted the Sprinter itself. I've hung it sideways on track in a couple of turns here and there, in a couple of races, and then in the wet as well, but it's a completely different animal. When you're actually trying to drift it, it's such a different animal, and I use the term animal loosely. It is a beast of a thing. So one of the guys I was talking to and actually took me for a ride in his car. So he's got a Honda S2000 powered A86 with a Levine front on it like mine, and he said it makes pretty much the same power as mine. To be honest, I've never been in a drift car as a passenger, so it felt
unreal. It was a whole lot of fun and just felt violent and brutal on the car and just mind-boggling, because if you're like me that spent most of your time circuit racing, so you're trying not to get the car sideways and you're trying to keep it straight and keep the wheels under you. When you go from that to being in an actual drift car and feeling how much angle they're getting, it's mind-boggling, because you're sitting there and you're going, okay, we're about to spin out, we're about to loop it, and then he just turns the wheel that little bit more lock, and it just comes back out of it, and he holds it around the corner and then flicks it back the other way, and the same thing, you think you're going to spin out again, and then a little bit more lock, corrects it, and it blows your mind. I highly recommend it. Like I said, the age-old saying, don't knock anything until you try it. Like I've never knocked these guys, but I kind of really haven't been into drifting until, I guess, now, really. Like, I've never really done an actual sanctioned drifting event. So last night was just a practice event, and it's a bit of an eye-opener. Like, I already had a few, I guess you could say, assumptions on what I had to do to sort of change the setup of the car to make it better as a drift car, but I kind of ran out of time to do anything to it, so it's still set up as a race car with all my race settings on it. All I've essentially done is put a different set of wheels on the back of it, which actually widened the track, which made it easier to drift, but at the same time, not realizing how slippery that little drift track is, it caught me out. So it went from, it was a bit of a comedy of errors, really, and it really made me look like a novice, and I didn't go in there thinking that I'm going to be the next Drift King or anything like that. Not a chance. I don't do that. But I did kind of go in there thinking, I know my skill level. I reckon I can throw the car around and just see how I go. And I was just talking to myself on the way to the event, just saying, just try not to loop it. Just hang it out. Try not to loop it. But that just completely went out the window on the first run. But like I said, so I learned having a square wide set of tyres on the front just does not work, and also not having power steering. If I had that set of wheels and tyres on the front, being 225 wide and square shoulder and that, if I had power steering in the car, it'd be a whole lot easier to handle in the drift and be able to pull the steering wheel back. But what was happening, it was just binding up on me with the camber and the casters that it's got mixed with the width of the tyres. But what I did do is they've got a compressor there, so I went and put a whole lot more air in the front, and I put just over 40 pound in the front to make it easier. Now it did make it easier because a couple of the guys I was talking to, a couple of Irish guys, Jimmy and Kev from K-Works, shout out to those guys, had a whole lot of fun and learned a few things talking to them. So I took Jimmy for a run. We done 3 runs, I think it was, and we ended up looping it on that last right-hander. It's probably going to be hard to see because I've got issues with my laptop and that on the net, and there's a whole comedy of errors here as well. So I've tried to record it on my phone on the laptop, so it's going to be pretty much crap if I even post it up. But if you can see it, I took Jimmy for a run and it actually went alright. So having more air in the front helped, but at the same time it was still ridiculously hard. But I had a better run. I handbraked into the first turn and drifted it and brought it back, and then second turn, and then the last right-hander just looped it out because it's ridiculously slippery. So that were probably the better runs of the night, is when I had Jimmy in the car. and then I took Kev for a run, and it rained in the meantime, so I thought this is going to be interesting. This little track is slippery as it is, and then you go and add water to it. So we found out, as you would have seen in the video, coming through turn one, just how slippery it was. It was like barely on the power. Like I said, the car only has about 200 horsepower, but barely on the power, and it just looped around on me. So that was fun. It's all good. If you can laugh at yourself, it's all good. So yeah, we just had that. I think I just had that one run with Kevin the car. I dropped him off so we could load his car up, because the big track runs, they finish earlier than the playground runs. So I come back, and I think I had another 3 runs on that wet track, and I was having a bit of fun. And on the last run, something happened to the handbrake, and I pretty much just called it. I drifted the last little bit just before you got to come in, and I think I looped it around. Yeah. Anyway, I brought it in and had a look under the back and found that it had split the hydraulic brake line that I've got from the handbrake to the rear brakes, just above the diff. Now, this car doesn't have that much travel for the diff to go up that high to hit that bulkhead fitting and push the line off. So something's happened. It's probably just maybe a fatigue thing over time, and like drifting is a bit of a violent thing with the car. But I have raced the car for 2 years. Has been an issue like that with it until last night, when I've used the rear brake lines with the handbrake on it. So it's going to be a simple fix. It's just a matter, like, there's plenty of line in it. I've got a couple of pictures that I took of it. I'll post up. You would have seen in the picture where it's split, so it's just going to be a matter of undoing that line, cutting that back shorter, and then rejoining it, putting the olive back in it and doing it up, and nice simple fix. So that's pretty much all that happened on the night. That's the worst that happened. A couple of times when the steering locked up on me and I couldn't get it back, and I just jumped on the brakes, and it was heading towards the wall, the fence. Could have all ended in tears there, but I'm pretty thankful and fortunate that the worst thing of the night is just that split brake line, because we did come pretty close to hitting a couple of those barriers, but avoided them all, which is good, and brought the car back without a scratch on it. So all in all, it was a little bit of a disaster, but I learnt a few things, and if I go out there again, I'll be better prepared. But I guess all I'll essentially do is probably get another set of wheels that are skinnier and put them on the front to make the car a lot easier to steer, and I reckon that would be a massive bonus. Other than that, I probably could soften the back, but I'm probably not. I'm probably just going to leave it how it is, because I'm not planning on doing a whole heap of drifts. But yeah, so I know I look like a bit of a fool out there, but we all kind of do in a way. We're all out there to have fun, and that's all that counts. It's the main thing at the end of the day. As long as you come home with a straight car and you had a bit of fun and you had a couple of laughs and still had a smile on your face, that's what it's all about. So big thanks to Kev for taking me for a run in his car. He had no tyres at the time, and we still managed to do 2 runs on no tread left on the tyres, so that was pretty good that they held in there and didn't tear his guards up. So yeah, that thing's a little beast. I've got pictures of that I took of it. I'll post up as well.
How many are you going?
Huh?
How many going?
2.
Just you two?
2.
Right, go.
we're done anyway.
All day 86 night tonight.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like I said, sorry about the sketchy footage. It's pretty crap, and we'll try to sort that out for the next ones. If we do any in-car footage of a night time, which is probably worse. Of a daytime, it's no dramas, but yeah, we'll do what we can to fix those issues. If you're wondering what this is in the background, so that's one of my guitars. It's a Les Paul replica. And then the pictures are of me on my RMZ 450. The smaller one is of me on the dirt track. The bigger one in the middle is of me on an oil track down in New South Wales, doing a little bit of a wheelie. And that one there is of when I was racing motocross. That would have been circa 14, 15, I think, that picture, maybe 14, doing a big double jump. So you probably can't really see in the picture. So yeah, but anyway, that's all in the past. So yeah, like I said, we'll try and make some better videos if we can. This one's pretty average, I know, but I don't have all the expensive cameras that some people have got because I can't afford them. I'd rather, at the moment, spend the money on the cars. It's only at night time that it's a bit of an issue, but like I said, we'll plod on, do what we can, make these videos better in the future. And yeah, thanks for watching, and take care.